What is up, viewers? Spang here, bringing you another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. Yes, I know it's probably been a little while since you've seen one, but let's get right into this. Now, this is going to be a standard battle on Erlenberg, and I'm in my... I love this tank, this little T54E1. I used to call it the Echo back when I had it. Now, this is an older replay from 8.8, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're not really quite sure what's going on, I'm pretty much going to be uploading a lot of 8.8 replays and then getting into 8.9. And, you know, depending on when patch 9.0 comes out, which I'm not sure what Wargaming is really planning for that yet. I haven't really heard a lot of chatter. But when it does eventually come out, I will hopefully be caught up. Now, you see me going to the south here. Kind of a stronger push than we're used to seeing here in the south. Although I do suppose this is becoming a little more common. You know, it used to be you'd see both teams, the Western team would push across the southern bridge and meet the eastern team, the zero line team, on the right at this little hill. But you can see we're now going around the south here and trying to stay as much out of cover as possible. And as you can also tell, no real enemy tanks have pushed across the bridge. That's becoming more and more the actual play by the enemy team on the west side here of the river. And right now our scout's right in the middle of the river trying to get on that little island. I'm not sure if he's quite gonna make it, and their 2801 was spotted right dead in the center, right near that center bridge. Our team having quite a few medium tanks down here, myself included, you know, 3 of us, as well as our heavy tanks hanging back, providing support. Got some tanks and tank destroyers up on hills. 2801 drowning himself, completely removing himself from the match, and the enemy team being spotted in the north, although our team has made what I consider to be a wise decision and not push that bridge at all. That bridge can be made into a very lethal choke point and perhaps blocked off altogether if the enemy team decides to try and push it in force. Now, we should probably at least have one tank over there spotting, but, you know, it's, I'm just glad we didn't sacrifice tanks across that northern bridge needlessly. Right here, you see a little bit of game chatter going on back and forth. More or less people talking about, oh, the 62A is not going to be available from the T54 and patch 8.9. Surprise, it still is. I'm not quite sure what they're talking about, though. It's really irrelevant to this match. But there goes our T71. Both scouts drowning themselves, and we're actually going to comment that on the in-game chat right now. And our team actually, I'm not sure what our T71's talking about. And I say, why are all the scouts drowning? Well, because they think they can cross the river when clearly they could not. But right now we see some enemy tanks getting spotted in the north. Hopefully that won't be too much for our team to handle, but you will see exactly how that ends up playing out. This match is going to be apparently very one-sided here very shortly, and it does take an unexpected turn, but you'll definitely get the opportunity to see exactly how the events unfold. Now, I'm kind of getting a little antsy here, driving around back and forth, trying to figure out what I exactly want to do in this situation. No one wants to push that bridge because we know that almost certainly means death. We have an Echo 3 here, a T110E3, a very heavily armored tank destroyer. I will get a free shot on him. I'll try to take another, but I'll see that it was simply not even worth the effort. I had virtually a 0 chance of getting through his frontal armor for damage, and just instead decided to reload. Right now, our team still pretty well spread out. Honestly, we have quite a few people on those hills, you know, providing overwatch. We got these guys watching the southern bridge, myself included. No one really watching the northern bridge at this point, and we're going to have a medium, a Leopard 1, kind of focusing his attention on that center bridge. The enemy team, the only real contact we have with them has been in the north, besides that E3 spotted in the south, and our STI perhaps getting a little bit ahead of himself, trying to push this southern bridge, learning quickly why that is precisely a bad idea. 704 spotted way in the back there in the K3 area, right there. Now you see him, and he's going to back up, try not to get too much attention drawn to himself. I might be fighting around over where he is, but more or less just seeing if I had a shot. Now our STI did end up dying to a T54E1. Wow, he must have been using gold rounds, or at least I assume so, because the STI pretty well heavily armored, in the T54E1, not exactly great pen. It's not terrible. It's 218 if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, I can check that right now. Yep, Nope, I take that back. 210 penetration, but gold rounds do have a 255, so that does give a better chance of getting through the STI's thick armor. But, you know, our IS-8 right here, charging forward to meet his doom. I'm more interested in if that 704 lights up. But, man, a lot of enemy vehicles being lit up across that southern bridge. Our Leopard 1 having pushed across the center bridge and actually running into a bit of trouble there himself. Now, I'm going to try to take a shot at the 704. Not quite going where I want. The second one, also not quite going where I want. I decided to say, screw it, might as well try and take a third one. And right here, I may get a shot. Yes, I will. Another shot for damage on that E3. So not doing too terribly for damage on my part. And I am reloading because I fired all 4 of my shots. And thinking now is probably a good time to start falling back. Maybe reposition myself a little bit. Look for maybe cross shots on those tanks in center. If our Leopard 1 manages to draw something out, our E75 learning nothing from our STI and IS-8's move of pushing that southern bridge is really nothing but a death trap at this point. And our E75, again, still learning that the hard way. And there he goes. We're down 3-0. Granted, you know, both tanks lost one of their scouts to the river, but nothing too significant. It's still a closable gap. Nothing that really has me all too overly concerned, but at the same time, I do recognize it is a sizable disadvantage. Ooh! Our 121 getting ammo racked by that E3 for all of his health. Damn, that was not something I noticed when this match actually happened. But I'm going to try and get a shot on this Leopard 1. I'm taking a round. Now you can tell for whatever reason in the replay, the outlines aren't quite working properly, but if you paid attention to my penetration indicator, it did show up as green. But I mean, the Leopard 1, you can really shoot it almost anywhere and get through, save for the random bounces at extreme angles, you know, those shots that every tank gets every now and again. I mean, hell, I've bounced off of a 1390 and a 1375 before with the tier 10 tank destroyer. Those random bounces happen just because you hit at a bad angle. But I digress. This Leopard 1 still kind of the center of my attention here. And our Leopard 1 in a world of trouble at the moment. He is still at full health, but our T95 doing his best to provide any sort of support, although his attention quickly shifting to the north, where our team is getting overwhelmed. Well, the one tank we had up there is getting overwhelmed by their heavy tank and medium tank push right here. This T54E1 taking 2 of my rounds, and I have no choice but to reload at this moment. Our team looking like it's in a bit of a bind here. You know, 0-5, it's not something that you can easily make up. Now, 704 did just eliminate an IS-7, a high priority threat, but it is still a 4-tank gap, and the enemy team has managed to cross the bridge more or less unopposed in the north. So they have quite a steady foothold up there. Leopard 1 almost giving me a shot, although I wasn't quite reloaded yet. I'm hoping this IS-8 pulls out and gives me a good shot on him as well, but the enemy team pulling ahead even more now. The Leopard 1 and our 4502B getting destroyed, giving the enemy team a 6-tank lead. Not something you usually see anyone come back from. This match, if you were in this match, you would think it was pretty much just plain over. Although our Foch 155 managing to eliminate an E75, not quite a high priority threat when you do have so many tier 10s in play. But still, every tank counts. That's one less gun the enemy team has, and it is still a 5-tank gap. So our team trying their best to hold the south. Our T54 really isolated down there. He should have been trying to fall back as early as he could now, especially with the fact that he pretty much has no support. That 140 really not giving me any good shots on him. And here we go, the 140 pulling a little more out into the open. I'm going to try and get a shot on him, but managing to just bounce off of his armor while taking a shot from him into my tracks. Here I recognize there's really nothing I can do. The 704 does manage to eliminate that IS-8, making it only a 4-tank gap, but our T54 now getting eliminated. That was only a matter of time. The enemy scout tank getting taken out, as well as the enemy 704. So it is now only a 3-tank gap, but the enemy team still does have a comfortable lead, while our team tries their very best to hold out in a very good defensible position. This hill is essentially our Alamo at this point, and it's gonna essentially be our last stand. I mean, there's really nothing else we can do. We just have to play defensive because we are at such a strong disadvantage. We have 3 tier 10 vehicles to their 5 tier 10 vehicles, and it's really just not looking good for my team. Now the Bat Chat getting hurt a lot. Ooh, and that enemy E75 getting absolutely lit up by our tank destroyers. This Bat Chat being very cautious. He does not want to take another hit like that. And the enemy team realizing their lead is slowly just dissipating here. They only have 2 more tanks than us now. And a 183 at full health as well as a near full health 704 is nothing to be taken lightly. I do consider myself somewhat of a factor here. I mean, the T54E1, not exactly a huge game changer. Not nearly as threatening as a 183 in a lot of people's eyes, but a T54E1 is still a valuable tank. Now, our T95, kind of isolated down there, not really having any sort of support. And I think he's probably a little bit thankful that there is no artillery, but he is still a prime target for anyone who really wants to swarm him. I think he could be overwhelmed very easily here at any point in time. What is that? That looks like an E5. Yeah, T110 E5 deciding it's a good idea to rush those Bat Chats. I wouldn't agree nearly as much. Ooh, is that one of those Bat Chats? Is Dr. No, one of my good buddies in this game. And if you haven't paid attention, this is from my SMRT clan days. So, yeah. Anyway, Dr. No, in that Bat Chat, a pretty decent player, although he does seem to have a curse of every time I see him, whether he's on my team or the enemy team, have a curse of losing a match. I'm not saying he loses every time. And ooh, that 183 eliminating that enemy 54 here. And the enemy team, again, maintaining a 3-tank lead, gaining a little bit of their lead back in our E5, getting himself eliminated by those Bat Chats. Like I said, probably wasn't a wise idea on his part. Now we have a Foch 155 sitting in our north, as well as a 704 and 183 sitting here with me. So our team pretty well concentrated. The enemy team has to be very cautious of how they approach us because there are big guns, as well as my gun, which is able to get out several shots. So I can pick off any low health targets up to 4 without having to reload. And if one of those tank destroyers manages to hit hard like that 704, if he left him alive with a little bit of health, I could have finished him off there, and our tank destroyers would still be able to save their high damage shots. Now, right here, this Leopard 1, gonna give me a little bit of trouble, bounced off him, a second one missing, third one is finally gonna hit for damage, and right here, he gets a little tricky trying to throw me off, and he will successfully do so. Right here, you'll see my 4th shot just barely miss right there. I was getting a little bit nervous at this point in time, so my accuracy kind of suffers when my hands start shaking a little bit. The enemy team managing to get on our cap, realizing that they might not win this by elimination, but the Object 140 thinking it's a good idea to rush 3 different tanks. Now, he will have some support here coming to try and rescue him, but this Bat Chat, definitely nothing I can do against him at this point, but I am going to try to ram him to death, leaving him alive with 1 hit point. Not like it's going to matter. He will be eliminated right there. The second Bat Chat going to get eliminated as well. This is what I'm talking about, that rapid fire capability of an autoloader tank, able to utilize their clip to eliminate several sorry about that one. Able to eliminate several low health targets in quick succession, and that's what you have to be careful of. Now, our team managing to finally pull ahead here. It is 13-10. We have a comfortable lead, but now our enemy is the countdown clock. There is only about a minute and a half worth of time left for us to eliminate this T110 E3. Now, if you recall, he was last spotted at the southern bridge, and he was kind of low on health there, partially thanks in part to me. But, you know, it's we're going to see if we can eliminate him here. We do have the Foch coming up right behind me, and our 704... No, I'm sorry, I believe that is our 183. Yes, our 183, very low health on him, pushing to the south. Our 704 also moving up. Our team recognizes we have to be on the move. I even do the attack little Comoros thing there. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's basically battlefield speak for the command circle that you get when you press Z, I believe the default command is. But anyway, we basically know we have to push to win. 45 seconds, there's really not nearly enough time to cap, although the Foch just driving through the cap circle on his way over. I spot the E3 using my situational awareness to zoom out and try and get a flank on him in order to basically eliminate him, but that proves to be unnecessary as the 183 takes a shot from across the map. Actually, no, he wasn't nearly as far back as I thought he was. He had actually moved up a considerable amount, but still took a shot and eliminated him. Our team managing a very, very impressive comeback. The enemy team really just allowing themselves to be funneled into our guns. They got a little bit too comfortable with their lead, and we managed to take advantage of it. So anyway, very exciting game. I did manage to do quite a bit of damage myself, got 2 kills. You know, nothing nearly as impressive as our 183 managing to get Top Gun, but a very interesting match nonetheless. You know, I really did not see that outcome really as a possibility. I did not think we had that great a chance of winning there towards the end, and understandably so. At one point, we were down by 6 tanks. And, you know, I said earlier, Dr. Noah kind of has a curse of every time I'm in a battle with him, tending to be on the losing team, whether it's mine or the enemy's. And the curse continued in this match. So, it's not, like I said, not always the case, but it does seem to happen more frequently than not. But I digress. If you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you got a replay, well, there's instructions for how to submit those down in the description. Anyway, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.